All right, Steven Stamkos, Jonathan Marchessault, Brady Shea. A lot of big names out there in the free agent market. Let's see where everyone ended up on today's show. All right, guys, welcome back to Biggest Guys Locker Room. I'm your host, as always. And today we're talking NHL free agency. Okay, today was the first day of signings for other teams looking to get players that are on the free agent market. A lot of big moves made. We're talking again with my old man, Dad. How are we doing today?
I'm doing well. How you doing, everybody? The show.
Man, it was a big day for the NHL free agent market. Let's start with that. What do you want to talk about first? Who was the team that surprised you the most?
I'm shocked at the biggest Golden Knights, and they got rid of so many. Stevenson was a disappointment for me that they got rid of. Marshy was the biggest one, but I understand with the contract, and I knew they were going to re-sign him for any big money.
Yeah, the VGK was a bit of a shocker. I know that, listen, we're up against the salary cap for many years now.
Yeah.
We made a lot of big deals last year. We've got to get under that number. It was going to be tough to sign Marshy. Marshy got a ridiculous deal from Nashville. And then Nashville made big news, signing all three of those big names.
He got what, 5 years?
He got a 5-year deal. His contract will go until he's 40.
Wow.
Which is insane. I don't think he was going to get that kind of term with Vegas. Now, the money is the same. He got $5 million a year. But I think it's the term that was the selling point. I don't think we were going to give him the term for $5 million a year. At that age, you're probably looking at what we talked about it, 2, maybe 3 years of high quality hockey out of Marshy. And so I think that's where kind of Vegas wanted to stick it, was 2-3 years. He, of course, wanted to get a longer term deal and finds it with Nashville. So does Stamkos. I believe Stamkos got a 4-year deal, and he's up there. So Nashville looks like they're really charging to make a run for it next season. That's where they look like they're going.
That. They look like they're trying to make a run for it.
And then they put the cherry on the top today, signing Brady Shea, the defenseman coming out of Carolina via New York, whatever you remember. I always remember as a Ranger from his earlier days, but Brady Shea, great defenseman. They put the cherry on top there. I think Nashville, if they can figure out what they're going to do with Saros and the goaltending situation, I think they're going to be a team that's going to be formidable next season. What do you think?
Well, yeah, but when we talk about some of the trades too, was the one that confused me was Stamkos.
Stamkos didn't get traded, Dad. He was a free agent.
I know he was a free agent, but why? Wasn't he the captain for?
Yes, he was the captain for the Lightning. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah, that was a shocker. I'm surprised that they didn't keep him.
I'm not too surprised. Injury-prone seasons. He's up there in age. Tampa Bay's run into that same thing where, listen, they went on that great run to 3 straight Stanley Cups.
Yeah.
And listen, the money's you can't pay everybody. You can't pay everybody. It's a business. I love it when everybody I love hearing it from non-Vegas fans because they're like, oh, your team's not loyal. You guys will move players. Of course we're going to move players. It's a business. Even Gretzky played for 4 teams? Come on. It's going to happen. You have to put your team.
It was just a shock for me. That's all, because they were already up at that big level, taking your star off, and not, I don't know who they replaced him with.
Oh, they went and got big. They got Getzel.
Getzel.
That's signed Getzel. Jake Getzel, who was the hot topic at last year's trade deadline. He was probably the number one guy. What did Carolina give up a 3rd-round pick to go get him? Tried to make a run. They needed a scorer. It didn't really work out. It fell apart for them at the end there. He moves on, and, man, he ends up in Tampa Bay to fill that need that was just emptied by Steven Stamkos. So kudos for the Tampa Bay.
Hey, there was a lot of moves today.
Oh, yeah, the big name. The big names have been in talks. You just can't make anything official till today. You definitely know, but Tampa Bay was another one that made big waves with Jake Getzel being signed there. Of course, Marshy, sad to see him leave, but VGK got depleted when they're with some of their big names. Chandler Stevenson leaves. He goes up to Seattle, got an enormous 7-year contract out there. It's going to be interesting for the VGK. We're big fans. But they did re-sign Dorofiev. They got your young kid players locked back up. Korzak, of course, re-signed. So I'm looking forward to this season. It's going to be a little different. You're going to have to see what young talent we have.
Yeah. We got Hill. Who's the backup goalie for?
We signed Ilya Samsonov.
That's right. Okay.
Yes, we signed Samsonov.
There's so many. I couldn't remember them all. Going over the notes today, it was crazy.
Yeah, there was quite a bunch of moves. Jake DeBrusk leaves Boston.
Yeah.
So he signs with Vancouver. He got a big deal there in Vancouver, 7-year deal. That, I think, is going to be good for Vancouver. I think that's his style of hockey fits. It's similar to what Boston is. They're a gritty team. So going over to Vancouver, I think that's going to fit the coaching staff there. That's how they
like the fans.
What's that?
Physical like the fans, Vancouver.
Yeah, they're not physical. You have to be a part of the vehicle for them to be physical. Just don't let them make the Stanley Cup and lose. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. They might riot if they win the cup.
Yeah, who knows?
I was actually quite surprised at the moves that Chicago made today. They went out and got some veteran guys, and I'm really impressed with what they've made as far as move-wise.
They got what? Bertuzzi, they got Craig Smith, they got
a
Maroon.
Yeah, Pat Maroon is going to be a great guy. He's going to be an enforcer there, keep Bedard protected, which was a problem last year they had. Yep. You get Tyler Bertuzzi, who is interesting because I know he was in Detroit. It looked like he was going to be a top tier player. He goes to Boston, then he goes to Toronto. He's bouncing around now. Now he's with the Blackhawks. Can't really settle in. Hasn't put that magic that he had with Detroit a few years back.
I think they're hoping that'll bring out the best.
Yeah, maybe if he gets a little more ice time, maybe that could do. They went and got Brossoit. Brossoit signed with Chicago as well. So I was really impressed with what they're surrounding Connor Bedard there with in Chicago. Listen, they're not going to win the cup next year, but if you can groom this kid the right way and get him around the right people, I think it's going to be good. Alec Martinez signs with Chicago as well. I think that's a good fit there. A guy with a winning pedigree. He's won multiple Stanley Cups. Yeah, I like the move. Who else did you like today when the moves they made, Dad?
The biggest one for me was Nashville. I thought they made two great moves with Stamkos and Marshy. I thought that was – and didn't they get who was the defenseman that they picked up?
Who's that? What's that? I'm sorry? It was Brady Shea.
They picked up a defenseman too, didn't they?
Brady Shea.
Yeah, Brady Shea. That was the biggest news for me today, and I think Nashville needs that. I don't know about Marshy's a shooter, but he's not a puck handler.
Oh, he did that, but that's why you go out and you get a guy like Stamkos who can facilitate. I mean, look how well Kucherov has done on the same line as Stamkos and those guys. Yeah, Stamkos doesn't need to score goals. He's going to get a ton of assists. He's going to feed Marshy, and Marshy's a shooter. So it'll work out. I think it works out. I think that team is building to win now, not for the future. It's going to be interesting because they do have some aging stars on that team, and it's going to be interesting to watch.
Stone for us. I'm worried about him too.
Who's that?
Stone.
What about Stone?
How long contract?
Oh, he's got many years left in his contract. That's not even close to being. Yeah, that's not even close to being up. Remember some of these contracts we got into with Stone, Pietrangelo. Some of these, I didn't like a lot of the contracts, and it was going to be, this is what you're going to end up running into because of the contracts we did sign. Petro gets paid well late into in his late 30s. We didn't sign a lot of cat-friendly deals, unfortunately, but we did make some moves to adjust for that, especially with the trade we made for Hurdle last year, getting them to retain so much of that contract, I think really is going to alleviate some things and keep us competitive for a while. I just don't think the VGK are going to be as deep as they have been in the past years. And unfortunately, that's just the way
what they do too before the season starts. But nobody knows what the teams are going to be until that time comes.
But if you look at it, you're going to be looking at
trying to be a lot of changes between then and now.
Yeah, you're going to look at bringing in this tier 2, tier 3 group of free agents and see if you can get them to buy in. You're going to be looking for role players in the free agent market. All the big names, I think, pretty much have signed. I'm trying to see if there's who's still available. That's a big name. I don't think I really saw anything that's a huge standout player. And how about you? Did you see anything?
No.
There's a lot of course, RFAs out there, but I don't think anybody's going to be willing to pay the price for any of those guys and try to compensate any team for that. But it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, the VGK I definitely know got hurt. But listen, guys, hey, comment below. Did we miss somebody? Who do you think was the biggest signing of the day, of day one of the NHL free agency? Please leave us a comment below and let us know what you guys think. Love to get some banter going on that comment page. So leave a remark down there.
Let us know. I'm curious too. I want to know what other people are thinking other than just the two of us.
Of course.
What others are thinking.
So what did you think? What was your, I don't know, I guess your most impactful one signing? Just not as a team, but the most impactful player you think was moved this day one of free agency?
That's a tough one. There was so many.
I'm going to go with the Jake Getzel move. I think that was the biggest impactful signing of the day. I think you lose the captain like Steven Stamkos. And I think from a talent standpoint, I believe he's going to be just as good, if not, of course, right now.
But is it going to make a difference? That's what
it's going to be a huge difference. Absolutely.
Between Stamkos and Getzel.
You weren't going to keep Stamkos.
No, I know. What I'm saying is that even you're losing the same level as you gaining.
Yeah, you're gaining a lot because you weren't going to have Stamkos there next year. Stamkos was not coming back. Was not coming back. So you were not going to get any production. Getting Getzel, that's a huge deal to get him in Tampa Bay. Him playing along with Kucherov and some of those guys, it's really good. I think they stay very competitive in Tampa Bay. And everybody likes playing in places like Florida and Vegas, the state tax situation where these guys are going to get a lot more of their money. So it's really appealing to play in some of these markets than it is other places. So I like the moves. I love the moves.
That move, it's a great move. I'm just looking at, I understand he wasn't going to resign, but I'm saying they have a player at this level and they're replacing him with a player at that level, which is good for Tampa.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. There. But yeah,
it's mainly loss out of it, out of the loss in the game.
No, I don't think they lose anything.
They're at the same level of play.
All right, what do you think?
I'd have to say the move to Seattle.
Stevenson,
yeah. I think he's worked well with them. It's going to pick up Seattle. I think they're going to be in the playoffs next year. They're going to be a contender, definitely for us. I don't want to boot us out of the playoffs because we don't know all the plays yet, but I do believe that Seattle is going to be in the mix of things next year.
Wow. That's a pretty bold statement there. That's a bold statement.
They were good this year. They really were. I was impressed with them.
Oh, I thought they were pretty bad this year. They didn't make the playoffs.
No. I'm talking their play.
Oh, okay.
This team, that team's got to find the rhythm with each other, and that's what they were lacking last year. They had the talent. They just didn't have the mixture. The fuel wasn't mixed properly to run the engine. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I think they keep trying to bring in 1-year guys. I just think there's too much movement in and out of their roster.
Yeah,
they don't have any. There's no continuity over each year. There's so much movement each year with Seattle.
I like their move with Stevenson.
I think it's a great move. I think it gives them a top line, a line 2 center who can also play the wing. We've seen that, and the speed he brings to the game, it makes it difficult for defense.
That's what we're gonna miss.
Absolutely. Our team has gotten slower over the years. I remember when we first came in the league, it was always about our speed. Not so much anymore. Not so much anymore. Now we've got a lot of aging players in getting to the edge on the back nine of their prime. So I think the speed factor is not quite what it used to be. But it's going to be interesting to see what the VGK look like this next coming year, especially on those third and fourth lines, what mix we're going to have.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Only time will tell. But you could talk about what the change is now, but nobody knows what's coming down the road here before the season even starts. There's going to be some moves that people going to blow people's mind.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, no, I don't think you're going to see anything huge. I really don't. I don't think you're going to see anything big now.
Chicago Blackhawks worked great out there with the changes that they made. I'm going to be impressed if they come out with it. But Bedard's an outstanding player, and he just needs a little help out there. He can't do it all himself. And I think they make some good moves.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what Bedard's going to be in year 2. I think they still have a top 10 lottery pick next year for sure. I don't think they're going to improve that much in 1 year, but I think they're putting the right pieces for him to grow with and kind of find his footing in the NHL.
I read that.
You brought in a lot of guys who are leaders on their team, so I think that'll get his leadership skills up, and they can draft the young guys and bring them up through the farm system.
Who are the best puck handlers that we have on the Vegas Golden Knights, would you say?
I think right now you're going to have to go with, of course, Jack Eichel is up there.
Yeah, he's number one.
Yeah, Jack Eichel. I think you're going to have to go. God, that's tough. A second one, I think you have to go Carly.
Yeah,
Carly's a better puck handler than most give him credit for. And I think Nick Waugh is a good puck handler. I think he just doesn't get enough ice time. I think he's mostly played on that third and fourth line just by he's a two-way player that plays 200-foot hockey. But he's a great player, and he can turn on the offense when need be. But I think those guys are pretty good puck handlers. Do we have anybody that's exceptional, besides Eichel? No, I don't think so. That's going to be the tough thing. I think Hertl can handle the puck. Hertl's a really great face-off guy, so he can handle the puck. He's just, listen, hopefully the injuries and everything that's held him back the last couple of years, hopefully he gets over that and he can get back to his high level of performance.
He's going to make a play, yeah.
Yeah. What about you? What do you think?
You know what? It's just too early to tell. It's the first day, and I want to get in. I want to read more about the changes and the comparisons. That's what I was doing earlier today, but it's tough for me to absorb it all in one day.
Yeah. And there was a lot of moves overlooked, a lot of things to go with. It's going to be interesting. Going forward. We forgot to even bring up the Riley Smith, the ex-Golden Knight.
Riley Smith, yeah.
He loved. He got moved today, Pittsburgh. He struggled there in Pittsburgh. I don't think he really fit in with that.
Well, he's on the Rangers, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he got traded from the Penguins to the Rangers. Yeah. I think that deal, Rangers got a great deal out of that because I believe, I think it's only $3.5 million they have to pay him next year because Pittsburgh's going to retain that 1.5 for next season, and that's the last year on his contract. So curious to see what happens. Hopefully he does well. It's a great team there in New York, and they can use a great leader guy like Riley Smith on that team.
I can't wait. Yeah. This season's too far away from me.
Yeah, it's a few months away, and this is after the Stanley Cup, though. I think it just moves so fast, and you get it as a small window at a time, and then you're back. You got the rookies report, rookie camp comes up. Of course, you get to watch some of those guys, and then before you know it, man, this season. Hockey rolls along so quickly.
Yeah,
it's pretty much.
When I was watching the Stanley Cup games, all I kept saying to myself, "It's been a year already."
Yeah, I couldn't believe. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, that's the hard part, that it was over a year ago that when we won it, and I was like, man, it doesn't feel like it was a year ago.
It feels like it was just yesterday.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's for sure. It's interesting.
Yeah.
But it was a great first day of free agency. A lot of surprises, a lot of things I didn't think were going to happen. Like we talked, William Carrier, of course, the guy we love here. I thought he was lined up, ready to go to Dallas, and he ends up going to Carolina instead.
Yeah, that was a shock.
The rumors were all he was ready to go to Dallas.
So Like Dallas just didn't pick it up, or what?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe the contract that was offered from Carolina was a sweeter deal. And listen, hey, he deserved to get paid. He's a great
Yeah,
player.
he
I
did.
loved
Yeah,
having
he
him.
did.
I loved having him here in Vegas. And of course, he was a fan favorite, one of the
How
original
many years did
misfits.
he get to sign up for? With
What's that?
do you know what kind of contract he got with them?
Not off the top of my hand. You got it?
No, I was just curious. I'd like to know. It just says they picked him up, but it doesn't say what how many years the contract was.
I'll bring it up real quick. Sorry, folks. The old man there doesn't know how to use the internet.
No, I'm not computer savvy. I try, but that's not my cup of tea. And I haven't been well lately.
No, it doesn't have it listed here as a big because he's not a big name.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
just
they didn't.
curious.
Yeah, they just have him. They just have it as a markdown. They don't even have a link, so there's no details I can see right now. But yeah, it just says he signed with the Hurricane, so he must have gotten a better deal, maybe some term, because he's 28, 29, so he's got to get a good contract here in order to get through to the next stage of his career. Because listen, that window is only open for a short while when you're an athlete. But it's been a great first day.
They'll be happy for the rest of their lives. They gotta worry. So
Awesome first day.
Who are the only originals left?
You got three. You got Theodore, McNabb, and Carly.
Who?
Yeah, Theo, McNabb, and Carly.
Yeah.
Oh, you got three left. Three left.
Oh.
Three left of the original Misfits. That's all we got left. Who will be around? I know McNabb's getting up there. Hopefully Theo get healthy, find his game again. And listen, man, with Stevenson gone, Carly should solidify moving in. Hopefully moving into
open the door for him somewhere in there.
Yeah, hopefully for Carly, hopefully he gets into those top two lines again. I know he pretty much finished most of the playoffs. I think he was playing on a third line center role. So it's going to be interesting how these pieces fit, because you have the true centers you really have on there: Eichel, Hurdle, and Carly, with the loss, of course, of Stevenson. But then you also have Nick Wastel there. You got four. I think you got four solid centermen up and down the lineup. Now, how you play a Hurdle is going to be an interesting move. Do you play him at the center? Do you move him to the wing? Do you keep Carly at center? It's going to be some interesting moves. It's going to be curious to see.
Yeah. Well, time you tell.
Yeah. We'll
look next week and see what other changes are.
Yeah. We'll look at this again and keep you guys and give you our thoughts on that. But like I said, hey, what was your favorite move in this first day of free agency? Comment that below and see what everybody picks up on. All right, guys. That's all the time we got for the day. Remember, you can follow us. You can follow me anyway. Dad doesn't have it doesn't have social media or anything like that. But you can follow me, Vegas Guy Jay, on Instagram and Twitter, and Jay Vegas on Facebook. Thanks again for joining the show. Please hit that like button, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks, Dad.
Take care, all.